Just let the energy wash over you and through you.
Hi, Madda. Hello, everybody. Woo! Hello. Come and say hello. So, what's been happening, gang? Are you all good? Have you all been good? I hope not. I hope not. What are you saying? What are you saying? Who's in? Let's have a little look. I need to get all my little windows in order. Where's my chat? There you are. Who's in? Carl and Cheryl are in. Weetrix, Maflooza, Lois Lane, Mama Claire. Let me just make my chat a little bit bigger. Come on. Ooh, I did a thing today. I did two things today. This morning, this afternoon, I went to uni and I did my last assignment. I know you guys have been really, really good at being patient with me with these shows because of the amount of uni work that I've had. So I've done that. I did my presentation on 2 contrasting business modules within the music industry. And probably a lot of you have seen my post on my Amber fan page, which was sparked from doing this particular presentation that I did today, this assignment. Hi Wilson, Graham's in, 170 out, Richie, Drew Clute, C James, Scott's in. Have I missed anyone? Ash the Mashup. That's a great name. Ash the Mashup. Mash it up, lads. Come on. 1D1, how you doing? Dean Richardson's in. Gaz. Mark Shelvin. Gary O'Connor's in. Oh, Reed! Oh, that's good. Okay, so I know which ones of you are in and which ones of you are like in the chat and which ones of you have put your tracks in and have had a message from me today. So I will be making sure that they're kind of like done in that kind of an order in the ones that, you know, so you guys don't have to hang around. Obviously, I'd love you to. I absolutely would love you to, but I do understand. So I think that's everyone. Sir Pragmatic, 40 Guns. Thank you for sending the demo through. It won't be able to go on today because I have to listen to it first. If it's not good enough, I'll explain why and tell you a few things that you could do to get it better. But please stick around because you'll learn a lot in here. I promise you. I've learned so much. And there's a lot of people in here who are beginners and experts as well, even though they wouldn't consider themselves experts, which is probably right to not do. But they are experts, so just make sure you do stick around. But you'll get an email from me on the day a few hours before to say if it's on or not. So if you haven't had an email today, then that means that it won't be in today, but it'll be on next week. So I'm nearly caught up now. Super Marco's in. Hello. Yeah, I'm just making a mental note. Kylek is in, of all the people who are in who I've got tracks to play today. So the first one in my list. Oh, I feel sick again. I've been doing loads of COVID tests over the last few days, and it's always coming up negative, but I don't know, I just feel really weird. No, it's got bits in it. Fuck! Oh! That was horrible. It's got bits in it. Oh. Madda, did you get an email from me? Did you get an email from me? Because if you did, then it's in. But yeah, it's got pulp in it, which is probably good for you. Hartshorn's in tonight. Think you did. What was it called, Madda? I think your one M series. I think your one. This is the thing, right? I'm really sorry about this, by the way. But when you send me WeTransfer links that expire, this email address is mainly specifically for this show and for promos, and it can take me a good few weeks to get through them, especially because we've just had Christmas, New Year and everything. So if it's been an expirable link, it's probably expired before I've been able to get to it. But I will, however, have emailed you to say, can you give me another link and possibly make it so that it's not expirable. I was going to talk a bit more about my post earlier, but I'll do it in a bit because I want to, I know a few of you got things to do. So first up, we're going to do Carl Pierce because I know he's on Aussie time. Good day, by the way. You flaming galah. That's not xenophobic, is it? I hope not. Don't cancel me. And this is Never Forget. Are you ready? Let me just make my chat a bit smaller because I can't see anything else right now. Okay. Where's my other thing? There it is. I've got a massive screen, by the way, and still I've got no room for anything on it. It's brilliant. It's just like windows and windows and windows and windows and lines and lines and lines. Okay, here we go. before I say anything, Carl, I want to know what you think of it. Hello, Mariska Rose. Welcome in. Guy. Carl. Guy! See, isn't that really good, though, that I thought of Guy when I was just asking this question? Because he's a very, very good producer as well. Carl, I'd like to know what you think about that. If you could just write it in the chat, what you think about this specific track. And like, how do you feel about it? What would you say? Lois Lane, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Thank you. And Mariska Rose, thank you very much for following. Wilson Serrano, thank you for resubscribing for 8 months now. We've nearly got a baby. 40 Guns and Dark Lord, thank you for following earlier as well. Let me bring up my chat. I want to see. I want to see what Carl said. I like it, but it may need a vocal. Yeah, like if it was going to have a vocal, then maybe one of those spoken ones, you know, like one of those inspirational. Everyone, you got to make sure that you do good things in this life, okay? You got to stand up for what you believe in. You don't take no shit now, y'all. You got to check yourself. Self, before you wreck yourself. There you go. There you go. Sample that one. There you go. You can have that one. That's yours. That's what you were thinking. Brilliant. Shall I start doing top lines for people now? Yeah, I'm going to do a silly sample pack at some point. Hello, Sparrow. Yeah, so if you were going to put in a vocal, do you know what? And this is a good point for people, okay? When you're making a track. Because the thing is, when you've got a good vocal, right, be it a spoken word or a singy vocal, it hides a lot of the bits in the track, you know, so you can get away with, or not get away with, because you won't think of it in that way. You might skimp over really honing in your sounds and shaping your sounds and choosing the right sounds and you know, even arrangement and stuff like that when you've got a vocal already there. Hi Jason Naughty, yay! So a really, really good way of working, which I've found as well, is to do it with no vocal in. Like, obviously, if you've got a vocal in mind, then that's great. But take it out and make everything sound as good as you possibly can so that it would stand upon its own, like this track, without having to have a vocal. And then when you add the vocal in afterwards, you've got yourself a really, really, really strong track. And I would say, like, if you hadn't have said that, like, then I wouldn't have said anything. But I think a spoken word vocal do you know what it would do? It would give it the thing that people will remember it. Because what was going through my head when I heard this track was, I can't remember the name of it, but there was an emotional, motivational speaker, and he says, each one, teach one, blah, 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 blah. Get what you came here for, or something like that. That was the song it reminded me of. So I think that something like that would be perfect. Not Paul McKenna, no. You'd have copyright issues with that, and everyone would fall asleep. We don't want that. Oh, Wilson, your link won't have come up there. So leave that with me. I'll allow links. I can do that really quickly. Let me just sort that out 1 second. But yeah, I think Carl getting some kind of a spoken word thing in there is what you want. Because if it was a singy one, it doesn't need a singy one. It just needs a thing, like a thing that we can like remember it by a bit more. But even saying that, I can actually sing back the vocal in my head right now. Not the vocal, the riff. I can hear the riff being played back in my head, which means that it's memorable enough. So, hang on a second. Content, settings, stream, clips, VODs, permissions, drops. Where do I allow thingies? Where do I allow links? I'll find it. I've nearly found it. Because I wouldn't mind you guys to please put in your social media links when we do this. Terms and phrases. Moderation. Where is it? Block hyperlinks. Okay, so now you can now do a link. There you go. YouTube is your friend. TED Talks. Anything about drugs or space talk? Yes, I would definitely go with the space talk there. You can link away now. Just no naughty stuff, obviously. I'm trying to do partner again this year now. Decided to go for it instead. Nikita, I'm a bit of a weird person. When Nikita came round to mine, Sharon, we started making a track and it had Jeremy Kyle in it, and it worked quite well. But yeah, that's all I have to say. In terms of like anything else to do with that track, I'm not qualified to say anything on that. If there is anything that could do with like being changed or amended, I don't know what that is. The only thing I could possibly think of was maybe a little bit more side chaining for a bit more pumping on some of the strings, but I have a feeling that could just be my personal taste. The piano was lovely. Yes. Can I ask what you used for the piano? Because pianos are always a funny one, aren't they? I tuned in yesterday and it's about wanking on vinyl, and today I tune in, the first thing I hear is no naughty stuff. I know, I think I just say that just to cover myself so I look professional. But as we all know, when you pretend to be someone you're not, very soon that mask slips and you end up talking about being a vinyl wanker and replicate. See, I'm doing it now. See how quickly it just... Right then, next up we have got Hartshorn. And this is called Hartshorn featuring Jin, that's double I, and it's called I'm Just Here Like. I'm Just Here Like. I don't think it's done in a Liverpudlian accent though, because he's American. I'm just here like. I'm not even listened to this one yet because I know that they're going to be good, these ones. So here we go.
And songs and messages I have saved. I thought we had it made. Now I'm just here like no way. Heart first in the fight.
Wow. Oh, I think I had my microphone on, so I hope it didn't ruin the audio quality for you at all. I don't think it would, because it's not an omnidirectional microphone, so it should have been okay. But usually I have my microphone off so you don't get any like slight phasing or anything. But it sounds like you all really like that. Jason Naughty, if you don't want us to, then that's okay, but it's fine my end. If you still want us to play it, but it's completely up to you, darling. Just let me know in the chat. But you know, we always allow like newly signed, even newly released, you know, because it's nice to have a good balance between tunes that have already been finished, kind of, or just about finished, and ones that are needed to have a little bit of work and that. So, but let me know in the chat, because we can still put it on. The last tune you showcased of me with Gin, Wind Me Up, got signed to Electric Fox. Yay! Fuck! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so excited for you. Fucking hell. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you, mate. I'm getting very emotional right now. That is just amazing. It did sound like an Electric Fox. Mate, do you know what though? I'm not surprised. Every track that I've heard of yours, I love. I absolutely love them. They're all very different, even though that they adhere to a certain style of hardcore as well. And I do really love them. I really do. You always manage to change it up. You always manage to do something within the track that makes me not expect it, which is very, very difficult. And especially recently, I've been buying a lot of hardcore, and I was getting quite disheartened, because a lot of stuff is trying to sound like your stuff and trying to sound like Darren Styles, but it's not quite as refined as your style and people like Darren Styles. It's not quite as refined yet, and it was kind of watering down like the good stuff out there. So the fact that you've been signed to Electric Fox, I'm really, really happy for you. So yeah. Oh my God. Yay! You heard it first, guys, here. I'd like to take a little bit of credit for that, even though I did absolutely fuck all. Yay! Well done, mate. Okay, so next up, let me just put this in my done file. Did Ujme, what's it? Jason Naughty get back to us? I won't play it just in case it's a label request not to play it. I think the label are happy, so now it is under wraps until release day. Thank you though. Yep, that's not a problem, my darling, and I'm really happy for you that it's been signed. Well done. So, where's your one? Just so I don't forget. I'll take that one out. So yeah, a few of you will have seen. Just while I do this, I'm just gonna. You know, I've been doing my assignments for uni, and it got me thinking about, you know, the mainstream and underground scene, and how things are very, very different, and how things are very different from when I started as well, like 20 odd years ago. And some of you may have seen on my Facebook, I've put a series of polls just to find out what you guys think about certain aspects of marketing ourselves. So like paying for likes, and, you know, when people buy their own tracks to get themselves further up the Beatport charts and stuff. And it's really, really interesting to me how going into that I used to have quite strong views on it. Even up to quite recently, I had very, very strong views. Well, I thought I did, quite opinionated on that. And I think I was seeing it in a very one-dimensional way. And I still feel the same that I did before. I still don't think that it's a good thing to buy likes anyway. And I also don't think it's a good thing at all to buy your own tracks, because from the mental health aspect of things, I honestly don't think it's going to be very, very good in the long run to do things like that. As we've seen here with Hartshorn, hard work, which won't feel like hard work, because if you're supposed to be doing this job, you'll just do it. And you don't want too much growth until you're ready, you know? And someone like Carl as well, who I've seen improve so much over the last few months as well. You shouldn't really feel the need to have to go and buy your own tracks to get yourself further up and get yourself in a Beatport top 10 or whatever. But I do understand now where, you know, that could seem a viable way to do it. And I don't think I would judge someone if they did do it anymore, you know, on that. But I honestly don't think that it's a very, very good idea, you know, on a mental health level of things. So I'd be interesting to know what you guys think about it. Most people in Hard House haven't got a clue how the rest of the music scene works. General Bounce, so true. And I don't think I did until I started this course. And also speaking to you as well. I mean, I've had my fair share of commercial success. I've had sponsorships with Lacoste and done BBC Radio 1 and Mix Mag front covers and stuff. And it's really weird looking back at it, because at the time, and obviously Tidy as well, Tidy was very, very good at marketing. And marketing in itself is an art form. It really is. So I think when I'm coming from my position, it's been quite easy for me to speak about these things, or quite, you know, because I have already got a following. But it would have been more difficult to have had that following had I not been with Tidy. I don't think the Mix Mag stuff would have appeared and stuff. So I do understand why this happens and how it can be. Seriously, we are here posting our personal music and you're talking about throwing money on it. Lost. Play next. You're so rude. Boo. Boo. I'm going to assume that you are from a different speaking language, first language, because you probably don't know what I'm actually talking about. If you'd listen with a bit of clarity, you would understand that this is extremely important to your artistic career. And it's a very, very important part of being an artist. It's all very well sitting here just talking about everything as a producer and the technical aspects of making a tune, but where do you go with it? What do you do with it? And a lot of you who are very new to this, especially in this day and age, you're going to be faced with the harsh reality that you're going to make some big decisions, and that could be buying your own track, or it could be thinking that you should buy likes for your Facebook. And I'm telling you now, it's not a good idea to do those things. But I can see where the temptation would be to do that. So 120%, just make it fast. Some are just making music as a meditation. Okay. You're going to get really boring really, really quickly. So just pipe down. I'm not in the mood for it. I'm due on my period. So you're probably going to end up getting banned in a minute. Right, next one. Alan Alaguan says marketing sadly is a big part of it. Do you know what? It's not about the marketing. I don't mind marketing in the slightest. I think it's when people do something which is actually deemed illegal, you know, to buy your own tracks over and over again. I'm pretty sure it's illegal anyway, or it has to be policed by the download sites. And I don't think the distributors are very happy about it either. So I do believe that these things will get changed you know, because we're still having to. The music industry is not ready yet for the way that it is in this day and age with the streaming and all the rest of it. Things are having to change. Contracts are going to have to get to change completely, and I feel that the record labels themselves will probably have to lose a bit of control, and I don't think they'll probably want to, but you know, it's just one of those things. It really is. But you know, I think it's important that we do talk about it, because I know some of you will rush out there, and if you don't get your track signed straight away, you might try and or if it does get signed, that the likelihood that you'll want to get it bumped up there and, you know, to get success, it will be a hollow victory eventually. So there you go. Right then. Next up we have got Mark Ross, Don't Tempt Me.
Who are you to taunt me? Haunt me, trap me, shake the rock on which I stand. How dare you tempt me this way? How dare you tempt me this way?
Yeah, all over this one. I really like this, Mark. It reminds me a lot of your Open Your Mind that I have been playing all the time on my hard trance sets. I quite like the long delay on it, especially when you like repeat the word over and over and over and over and over again. It is really good. I do believe that you could probably sort out the bottom end a little bit, but it will be an easy fix. Like someone said, probably side chaining, maybe even just trying a new kick, or maybe it might even just be a mix down thing, or shaping the bass a little bit more. Side chaining the delay. Yes. Hi, Timber. Yeah, side chaining the delay makes so much difference. Having a compressor while the vocal is playing and having that like compressed down so the delay does not play until the vocal has finished, and the release then pushes it up, and then you have the delay effect. Really, it allows you to not have to have like a dry and a wet version as well. So it can be good from a workflow point of view. But yeah, I think it's a really strong track, and I really like it. Yeah, the idea is really good, isn't it, Gary? Please criticize mine. Okay, so Herdino, all you need to do is you need to send it to my email address. So let me just put all the details in here. I won't be able to listen to it today, but you send it to amberdpromo at... Don't lose it. Oh, I've lost a sneeze. You need to send it to amberdpromo@gmail.com. Make sure you head your email with the words demo drop, and please name your files as artist and then the title. Okay, that's fine. No worries. If you're not emailing, then that's up to you. Nice to have had this wonderful interaction. Okay, next we're going to do Gary O'Connor because I've seen him in the chat. Okay, where's Gary? Here we are. So this is hot off the press, as they say in the biz. Here we go. Oops. really, really good, really good track, that, Gary. It's reminiscent of Happiness, your other track that you done, Happiness. I love your energetic bass lines. Well, what I love about them is the energy created between your kicks and your bass. Like, you're always like, I know whenever I'm mixing in one of your tracks, and there's specific ones that really do this as well of yours, I know it's going to be a great bass swap. I just know it. And that's one of the most fundamental things that we have to get right with our dance music, guys, is the kick and the bass. A kick and a bass is the first thing you should listen to as a producer when you're making a track, and also as someone who's DJing. Like, whenever I listen to any tracks, be it buying something on download site or something that I've been sent, first thing I do is skip to when the kick and bass comes in. And if that's grabbed my attention, then I'll listen further. If it's not grabbed my attention from the offset of the bass coming in, is not, there's no point me listening to the rest of it. Like, that's as a DJ. Obviously, that doesn't apply when we're listening to each other's music, production-wise. So, yeah, exactly. Tash has put a good comment there. I like the fact it doesn't sound the same as every hard house tune. I was even going to say further to that. Now, Gary, you seem to have your sound. Like, you have it nailed. You have a sound that reminds me of Maddox, but it's not Maddox at all. It reminds me of kind of maybe Ben Stevens as well to a certain degree, but you have your own sound. You really do. And it's, all of your tracks have this. And it's really, really hard without repetition and without being brave enough to constantly like finish your tunes, finish your tracks, work with something, find something that you know is working. Every kick you will ever need for hard house is in the Frank Farrell kick samples pack. Let me write that down. Thank you very much. Here's my pen. It's all right, I'll put it in my Google Docs. There we go. Top tip there. Frank Farrell sample pack. There we go. Hard House Kick Library Volume 1. Yes, I'll be getting that in a little while. Thank you for that little top tip there. But yeah, like, that's all very well and good. However, getting to the point that you're at now of your production is all to do with fine tuning, like 1%, like incremental improvements, and you only get that by finishing tunes, listening back to them, keep doing it. There's 2 volumes. Oh, lovely. Dom Sweeten kick pack. Yes, you just reminded me, I've got the Tony DeVite sample pack as well that I download. Well, I paid for it, but I haven't downloaded it. Oh yeah, like, rule number 1 with the genre that you're making, and I know this is specific to hard house because I've been trying to make hard house for a long time, and when I say trying, I mean trying. Like, I am such a connoisseur of hard house that I wouldn't ever want one of my hard house tunes released until I knew it was as good as the people's music that I play. So I have a very, very high standard. And the first thing that really helped my productions in hard house from sounding like, I'll have to get them out at some point and show you, like, the stuff that I was trying to make that I thought sounded like hard house. It was just awful. Like, I'd listen back to it, I'd be like, why isn't this working? And the reason why it wasn't working, rule number 1, you must have good samples. And they have to be authentic to the genre that you're making, i.e. in this case, it had to be hard house samples. And they're very specific. They have to be, you have to have 909 sounds in there, hi-hats, your rides, Your kicks need to be very specific, and it's really important as well to use samples from other hard house tunes as well, especially when using Hoover sounds. Hoover sounds will always sound better if you use a Hoover sound that is sampled from another track with a Hoover sound in it. If you listen to a Hoover sound from a Juno, raw as it is, it won't sound the same. And that's because there is a lot more processing that goes into it, which is on the finished product of the hard house tunes that we're used to hearing. I love a good Hoover as well. Yeah, Diva's brilliant for making Hoovers. It is. But I found that the best way for me to do it is to not be so chin strokery about making everything from scratch. And I did for years and years. I went down the rabbit hole of subtractive synthesis, which isn't that hard, FM synthesis, additive synthesis, spectral synthesis, and learn to make things from scratch. And I'm really glad I did, but for years it was really hard. For years everything sounded not as good as the preset that I could have just thrown in. But it's good to know how to make these sounds, but don't be afraid of using samples. I actually start my synthesis classes on Monday at uni, where I get to go in and fiddle with knobs all day on a Monday morning. I can't wait. Any Logic users stick the default ring shifter plugin on a Hoover. Thank me. Thank you. And that concludes today's thank you for all of these tips, Gary. This is really, really cool of you. Thank you. And this is why this program's so important, because you guys are all helping each other. It's little things like that you will probably for a long time be mystified how someone got this sound. And there you go. You got someone like Gary O'Connor explaining. There you go. Bit of ring modulation. Okay, next up. Have I ever thought about creating my own hard house VST? In what sense? Because I'd say that all the kind of hard house VSTs have already been made. A really good one is Rave Generator or Rave Generator 2, which has got every single old school or hard house sample that you would ever need. It's not really, I mean, I'm not the person to be creating a hard house VST anyway. Like, no one's going to buy that because I'm not a hard house producer, in terms of like knocking out loads of my own music with it. So no is the answer. What I might do in the future is do a sample pack of me doing loads of silly noises. That's what I'd like to do. When do you get to hear me play the piano? Oh, well, it's not plugged. It's a MIDI keyboard, that one. It's not actually in at the moment, but at some point you will. I do play piano. Yeah, Rave Generator is fantastic, and it is free. So if you want to go and stick Rave Generator into Google, you can go and get yourself that, or get Rave Generator 2. So there we go. Okay, next we are going to do Bosky, because I know I've just seen Bosky in the chat. Okay. Yeah, well done, Gary. I loved it. Loved it, mate. Okay, this is Bosky, Spunk Your Wages.
Then try and avoid your wife's gaze as you struggle to come to terms with your sexist marriage. Then go and spank your wages on kebabs, fruit machines and brasses. What else are you gonna do on a Saturday? What else are you gonna do on a Saturday? What else are you gonna do on a Saturday? Go and spank your wages on kebabs, fruit machines and brasses. Fuck that for a laugh. I know what I'd rather do. Love it.
Okay, so that's Bosky, Spunk Your Wages. I think something. Oh, Sphero, he's real cheap. Like, I can't remember, but he's like £9 or £10 a track, something like that. I think a bit of the issue here is you're using a lot of question and answer sounds which are in the same frequency range. If we just have a listen back. Sorry. Was it like that the whole time? Was it like that the whole time? Soz. Okay. So, what I was saying was, Only when I started talking. Okay, so what I basically was saying was John Doe is about £9 or £10, so he's not that expensive. So definitely go and check him out for mastering and stuff. Then what I was going to say was I think the issue is you have a lot of sounds which are within the same frequency range, like your question and answers. Listen to that. So like you could be using up more of the spectrum there, I think you could be. And the other thing as well, you could have more movement on those sounds. I know you've got a bit of movement on some of them, but maybe like a phaser going through it or a chorus, something like that. Or that trick that Random But Raw does where he puts an EQ notch and then sweeps it and automates the sweep, that kind of thing. So your sounds need to be a bit bigger. I think you're being a bit held back with them because you don't want to possibly take up room for the kick in the bass or whatever, or maybe things are peaking and you might need to go back and do another mix down or something. But I do feel that those sounds are a little bit thin, and there could be maybe a bit of saturation could help if you haven't put any saturation. If you put compression on, maybe take it off, see what it sounds like without that. If you're using a limiter on the master, maybe take that off so you can hear everything better. So like as you're making the track, because then your ears won't be lying to you to think that everything's sounding molded when it probably isn't. And because when you put the limiter on and it's working, when the limiter's active, it will squash everything. Make it sound more glued together. And I think sometimes when we're making music in the early stages as well, when we're choosing all the sounds, it's probably best that you're not doing that, and probably best that you're not doing that when you're doing any EQ amendments and stuff. Yeah. But that's all I have to say on it. I am really impressed with your improvements over the last year. I think it's amazing what you've achieved, and it's one of my favourites that I've heard. I really like it. I would like to set you a challenge as well, Bosky. I think it would be really good for you to try making try maybe even in this track, try doing a bass, my brain's not working today, a bass progression. Because all of this is on the same key all the way through. Even on those bits, right? Like where your riff goes. You could have the bass copying that. So the bass can come, go into it and change the bass to copy the MIDI of that riff and see what it sounds like. Yeah, the bottom notes, because it will give it more emphasis. It won't sound so top heavy, and it will sound more like solidified. It does slightly on drop leads. Listen carefully. Okay. Yeah, I think you should maybe go back and work on that bass, because I think it doesn't sound like it's in key tonal wise to that riff. I mean, it is, but it might be ever so slightly need to be knocked, maybe just a few cents. But I would go in, maybe even change. Octave up may help. Yeah. It's not shit. Do you know what? I wouldn't sit here and think about improvements and try to articulate an improvement if I didn't think it was worth it, Bosky, because I know that you are a really good producer. So what I'm saying here is purely, one, it's my opinion, and two, it means that I would play it. So I know how difficult it is taking any feedback though. Fuck. Have you noticed how little music of my own that I enter into our demo drops? I fucking hate it. I hate people telling me where I'm going wrong. I do understand. 100%. 100%. But I say it because I am confident in your abilities as a producer. And we need to be strong and to show people our working out and show people where we're getting stuck. It's really important. Really, really important. So I'm going to be submit one under an unknown alias. I don't make as much music as a lot of you guys do, but obviously with my course now, I have to. So not my blind spot because I'm aware of it, but my biggest hurdle is getting out my own way. And I think when you've had success with engineers making music for you, it's quite difficult for me to be ready to release a lot of my music. It's fine with the bounce stuff because the bounce stuff is just fun. So I don't need to overthink it. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of music coming out this year from me, put it that way. So I want some new Guy tunes, says Tash. You will have a whole album of it soon. Drew, thank you so much. Dr. You, thank you very much for 2 months in a row now. Bass Rebels, thank you for resubscribing for 3 months. Ollie and G Pinard, thank you for following. You guys are brilliant. Thank you so much. So next up, we've got... Okay, so next I'm going to do Maflooza's one. I think Maflooza might have gone now. And I know that they were a little bit worried because they were starting to think, oh, everyone's really, really good and my song's shit, blah, blah, blah. And that's definitely not the case because this is why we're all here, is to learn. That's why we're here. So this is these, and it's just called Demo 1. And some notes that I've got to give you on this is they want some advice on how to make it a full track. You know what it's like? You get so far with a track and you're like, I don't know what to do now. So you put it aside because you know it's a good idea and you know it's worth not fucking up. So you put it aside and then it's, months have gone and then years have gone and then you go back to it and maybe the project doesn't even load up properly anymore or whatever. So this person, Maflooza, Thieves, doesn't know what to do with this track. So have a listen to it. Remember, it's not finished. And we want loads of constructive ideas, please, guys. Thank you. So there we go. That is Thieves and Demo 1. Thanks for all the comments there in the chat. I really like it. Sonically, it's using the full frequency spectrum really nicely. There's not a lot of sounds in it, but every sound has its space. I love the kick. I think it would sound really good slowed down as well. It reminds me of melodic techno. The melody, the ARP may like benefit from being reined in a little bit. You know, the good thing about using an ARP is using an ARP with a good delay is you could get the delay. You could have like a really long delay on like on eighths or dotted notes on the left, and then I don't know, like triplets on the other, and then like take out some of the notes within that ARP or MIDI pattern, and then let the feedback from the delay do the work with creating like almost a wraparound kind of effect, and create the melody that way. Yes, automate the delay. Yeah. Automate like the feedback, or maybe even the dry and wet. That kind of thing would sound really cool. Oh, my fleas, yay, you're still here, yay! I'm so pleased. And I know what it's like. It is nerve-wracking making people, letting people listen to your music. But the reason why I decided that I wanted to have it on is because it sounds really good. All you need to do, you're so close. All you need to do is finish stuff and move on to the next thing. But your sound choice is great. It really is. See, Gary said he loved that. Yeah, like you've got an awareness of being able to pick the right sounds, and everything sounds very professional. And I would obviously take an educated guess that this isn't even like mastered or anything. It is very experimental, yeah, but it definitely, it sounds organized compositionally, arrangement wise. It really does. So if this was my project that I'd started, I'd be really, really excited to get it finished, put it that way. So yeah, some of the plucks may be a good idea, like for that kind of thing. 'Cause yeah, I felt that some of the plucks on the higher end were getting a bit much on the ears. So you could use a bit of dynamic EQ if you use FabFilter Pro Q3 and use a dynamic EQ on those top bits, just so it will bring it down a little bit, I think. But yeah, you're talking these suggestions are more advanced suggestions, so I think you're a bit further along than you actually are giving yourself credit for. Sausage partner on everything. Bit your teeth in. Oh, cut some highs from that pluck. Yeah. Go into the MIDI pattern, and those the high highs, just drop them down an octave. Great idea. Great idea for depth as well. And also it excites the ear again, because it won't be expecting it. So yeah, great, and well done for being brave. And I know some of you have just been saying about the fact that I don't put in my music into here enough. I'll show you just because I'm really, really proud of my floozer there. I'll show you something that I've done recently for one of my assignments. Oh, I'm getting really nervous showing you this. Oh my God. I've got to get over it. Okay, so this I'm going to show you now is I used a vocal from one of my fellow students who is a rap artist, and so I did a track, and I used her vocal in it. Let me just find it quickly. It's not that one. Not that one. I'll put on the next track and then I'll see if I can find it, just to save time. So the next one we've got is Gary O'Connor and Madder, and it's called Sexy Time. Hang on a sec, I'm just going to find it. There it is. Come here, you little scamp. Yeah, like everything about that is a hit. Everything. I absolutely love it. And I think that you two in the studio is a good thing. You know, despite all the kissing that you would have been up to, all the snogs, you managed to get some work done, didn't you, boys? I love it. Nothing else to say. I love it when it finished. Brutal. Brutal. He's just jealous. Yeah, sexy time in the studio. I lived it. Absolutely lived it. Who's getting it? That's what I want to know. Is it coming out on your label, Gary, or yours, Madder? Yeah, make sure you put your socials in, Gary. Well done. But yeah, it's just brilliant. Like I said, it's the kick in the bass for me every time with your tunes. A pair of you. And the pair of you have been making a lot of waves over the last year, 2 years. And I'm really, really proud of you both. Really am. I like the vocal. See, General Bounce, this is usually the kind of vocal that he'd call a slag vocal. Slag tune. Don't worry, boys are slags too. It's okay. We're not being sexist. Not today, anyway. Yeah, well done. Now, I think I found one of mine that I've done. I forgot I'd done 2 tracks for my assignment. So I'm going to play you one of them. It was the one that I was on about before, which was the one that I've done with my friend Tanya from my uni. Big girl now at university. Don't you know? At least I think it is. I think it's right. I'm going to play it because they're both the same. They're both very, very different tracks in terms of different genres, but you'll get the gist. It's not even got a name. It's just got a code number on it. So I'm just going to make up a name for it while I play it to you. So here we go. Here's one of my tunes. Feel free to critique it if you like. And I promise I won't cry.
You said we can rock on a house beat. Yeah, we're feeling better now than we have been. If you're all cool hours and you're dancing, then I wouldn't stress your head about the vaccine. You said we can rock on a house beat. Yeah, we're feeling better now than we have been. If you're all cool hours and you're dancing, then I wouldn't stress your head about the vaccine. You said we can rock on a house beat. Yeah, we're feeling better now than we have been. If you're all cool hours and you're dancing, then I wouldn't stress your head about the vaccine. You said we can rock on a house beat. You said we can rock on a house beat. A house beat. A house beat. A house beat.
Guys, thank you. Do you know what? I think I might, because this was just for an assignment, and I was kind of getting to the point where I just needed to get on with the other assignment. So it was really helpful actually listening back to it, because I haven't even listened back to it since finishing it. And as we all know, it's really important to listen back to stuff with fresh ears, because we can hear it much more objectively. So I agree. I think the vocal, I mean, I have got the raw vocal. I'm going to go back in again and take some of the processing off. There's a bit of harsh compression on the P's and the B's, which could be tailed off a little bit. I should release that. Really? Well, I'll give you first dibs, babes. But I'll want to clean that up first, and I'll make a proper job of it as well. But yeah, my problem, and I'm sure a few of you will relate, it's finishing things. It's knowing when something's done. So, and I love making this style of music as well. But oh my God, like unless you keep doing it and you keep making tracks, and you have to be okay with making all right ones for a long time. And then, like we've seen with Madda and Gary and loads of you, this applies to so many of you who are regulars on here. That's the only way that we're ever going to get better. And I know a lot of you you do the work. I don't do enough music, but I have promised myself this year I will be knuckling down and doing a lot more production. I'm ready to do it now. I just very much doubt myself. It's really, really hard for me to know if it's good enough. So thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate it. Who are these people sending me Xbox requests? Go away. Sorry about the desktop audio. So, Gav, I'm really, really pleased, my love. We need to get you over soon at some point so we can have a proper meet up and a chat together and stuff. So, yeah. Cheers, guys. Thank you. So next up, we have got... We're going to do John Hemming. John Hemming's track. Which is called... It's really, really cool, this track. It's called I Love Salmon, Fuck Mushrooms. Not literally. I don't think he's like recommending that we all go and do that literally, but okay, here it is.
got to the bottom, and I thought I was gonna throw up at this table.
Try mushrooms.
I can't stand mushrooms. Fucking
so
mushrooms.
bland.
Fuck them. I hate them. I hate them. I
What
hate
do you love?
everything.
Come on, what do you love?
I
Salmon?
love Parmesan cheese.
Salmon?
I love salmon. I love noodle kugel. I love
Grits?
sure. I love pozole.
You're cool with grits, you're not cool with mushrooms.
Fuck mushrooms. Wow. So much love for him. Discomfort. When I got to the bottom, and I thought I was going to throw up at this table.
Try mushrooms.
I can't stand mushrooms. Fucking
so
mushrooms.
bland.
Fuck them. I hate them. I hate them. I
What
hate
do you love?
everything.
Come on, what do you love?
I
Salmon?
love Parmesan cheese.
Salmon?
I love salmon. I love noodle kugel. I love
Grits?
sure. I love pozole.
You're cool with grits, you're not cool with mushrooms.
Fuck mushrooms.
Oh, there we go. That is John Hemming. I love salmon. Fuck mushrooms. Really, really like this. It has a Crookers feel to it. Fidget from back in the day. Electro. Mr. Wazzo, a few people have said. Dirty Bird style, says Josh BB. It's really nice. I love the snare rolls in it. I love the stabs in it. I like the arrangement. Maybe it could have just been condensed a little further because it's 6.5 minutes long. Maybe bring it down a little bit. So grab the best parts of the arrangement. That could easily be whittled down a bit. Maybe a few more effects as well for some of the breakdown areas. But that's all I can really think of, really. But I loved it. Really, really liked it. So, yeah. Yeah, percussion was brilliant. Karsten says it's made him want to dance. What else? Mr. G agrees. I guess, yeah, I would say it would be aimed at the Untidy label, without a doubt. Like, that sounds just timeless, isn't it? It really is. So, yeah. I know he's got some tracks coming out on Untidy as well. So, yeah, he's proper on the production this year. And I love that. I think it's really good. I'm really, really happy for him. And, yeah, I'm sure he'll be watching this back later on as well. So, next up, we have got Wilson Serrano.
I don't care about trouble. I just want to jump. doesn't matter where we come from. Forget about your challenges. It's not a matter of where we live. Music is universal. I just want to jump.
There we go. I absolutely love that. And I like this style. I like the triplets, skippiness to it. It was really playful, had a lot of energy to it, made me feel quite nostalgic as well, in a really good way. Is it a work in progress? Is it a work in progress? Wow. I think it's finished. I really do. I really liked it. Again, it's got your signature sound to it, even though you said that you've been challenged to do something in a lower BPM. It would sound great on an album, you know, if you put this on an album of all of your stuff. So it reminded me of the old early 2000s ATB stuff. Yes, and the vocal was really cool. It really was. It was really nice. Yeah, and I think your melody encapsulated the feeling of jumping and, you know, and playfulness, and yeah, I really liked it. After we stopped using all the bendy guitars, oh yeah, love it, absolutely loved it. Wilson, thank you very much again. Brilliant track. I'm going to give you an air horn as well. Nice one, babes. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add, like, because I just like it. I like it how it is. Sometimes better for you, like, if like you have less feedback, because it probably means that it's done. Right, next one we've got is DJ 170 out, who's in the chat, and this is Complicit. take a bow. Take a motherfucking bow, because that is probably, well, it's the best track of yours I've heard. It's really good. It's got so much energy to it. At the end of your sections, when the kick kicks back in again, it moves you forward. There's power behind it. I love it. I think it's ready. It's ready to go. What does complicit mean? Does it mean to comply? Complicit. Involved with others in an activity that is unlawful or morally wrong. So it doesn't mean to comply. Okay. Paul Clark did the mix down. It's out now. Brilliant. Masterpiece, yes. It's a good job, but I haven't had this come up in a conversation, is it? Hey, Amber, do you want to be complicit with me? Because I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll comply. I'd be like, okay. Sorry, Your Honour, I didn't know what I was doing, Your Honour, because I thought being complicit was something that was a good thing to do, but apparently it's breaking the law, and I didn't mean it. I'm really sorry. And then he'd be like, it's okay, darling. That's fine. And then he'd say, or she, or they, would say, I love your live streams. I think they're amazing. I'd be like, oh my God, do you watch me on Twitch? He'd be like, oh my God, all the time, you know. Go on, get off with you little scamp. There you go. And then he'd adjudicate me and then tell me to stop badgering the witness. There you go. That was my made-up day in front of the judge. But anyway, back to this tune. I think it's perfect. Don't take me down. No. I don't want to go to prison. If I went to prison, right, I would be someone's bitch. I'd like to, yeah, I'll be all right. Be all right. I wouldn't. I'd be someone's bitch. I really would. I'd keep my mouth shut. It'd be like prisoner cell block H. And I would not be complicit. I would be compliant. There you go. That was the word I was looking for. Compliant, sort of. No! Stop it! Sorry about my moderators in here. Sometimes they like to troll me. Yes, Graham, we loved it. We really did. Because this is a good... The proof is, the reason why we can have banter after we've just listened to it is because there's nothing to say, like, in as far as feedback, because it's done. It's done. It's really good. I'm really, really proud of you. Really, really proud of you. Let's hope the boys don't wake me up before I get some rest. You're welcome, Wilson. I'll see you soon. So next up, we've got Tony Perkins. I've got to move on a little bit because people need to get to bed. Including me, actually. I've got the school run in the morning. Here we go. Oh, come on. Yes, mate. So that is Kooky by Tony Perkins. And yeah, it's very different to your other stuff. And you've even put in the private link. I don't really know what genre this is. Any ideas? Doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter in a kind of a way for getting it signed or whatever. But I'll put that to the chat. What genre would you put that in, guys? I don't know what I'd put it in. Progressive house, but old school progressive house. Yeah, proggy house. Yeah. It could possibly be acid house in a sense, but I think acid house is more upfront. It's not got as much depth and reverb and like, well, not as, you know, delay and things like that. Maybe tech house. Yeah. Like the original kind of tech house. Electronica, EDM. Yeah. It's definitely proggy. Like I'd have that in a warm-up set, definitely. So the kick and bass for me were perfect. And it's quite a long track, but it didn't get boring. And I really liked it. I loved the vocal. I loved what you did with the delay. I loved what you did with the acid. You didn't have much of a pattern with the acid, but you had a big delay on it. And I think that spatialness of it really suited the tempo and the feel of the track. It was something you could get really lost in. So that would be why it would be really suitable for like a warm-up set, you know, that kind of a thing. So yeah, I think it's really, really good. Really good. I'd say it's done. Say it's done as well. So yeah, well done, my love. Really, really liked listening to that. Yay! It could have been even slower and it would have still been great. This is a prime example of why energy isn't just in BPMs, tempo based. It's really not. You can have an energetic track being any speed. It's probably just a lazy way to do it by, you know, upping the BPM. But when you do that, you lose a lot of the transients. So you need, if you're going to do quicker music, you're going to need to know what you're doing a lot more, I think, in shaping your sounds and that kind of thing. Otherwise, it's just going to sound messy. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. So next up, we have got The Overseer, and this is Trigon, I think you pronounce it. I absolutely love that. That is the Overseer and Trigon. And I know of your stuff anyway. And I play some of your hard trance already. So I knew it would be a good one. I really, really like it. I really like it. Yeah, so whenever Red Misty or when anyone in the chat says, oh, that shit, it's and I'll know whether it or not it's someone that understands the joke. It's because I had a bit of an outburst at someone because they said that a BT track that I love, trance tune, was shit. And I think I was probably having a bit of a bad day, and I told them what I thought about it. So ever since then, chat have decided to just tell me everything's shit. Trying to trigger me. But yeah, they don't mean it. But if anyone did mean it, then they would be ejected immediately. But this is just amazing. I really, really liked it. I love like I said in the chat, I love your placement of the claps. I love the claps themselves. I love the reverb on the claps. I know it sounds like a pretty simple thing to do or be able to do, but you know, getting these little intricate details down for certain genres it requires a lot of research. It requires a lot of trial and error. So yeah, I really really liked it. It's the first thing you've done in quite a while after a house move, like a literal house move, not house the genre. And a new studio build, mate. That's crazy. Yeah, so you'd have been having to get used to a whole new studio room sound, won't you? But yeah, I love it. I think it's really good. Really, really good. I loved it. That's all I have to say. So yeah, well done, mate. You must be strong to move out. Stop it. Going. Next, we've got Dark Lord, who's done a remix of Tiesto, Love Comes Again. Here we go. Yeah, I dropped my pen. Testament to everything sounding better with a donk on it. I liked it. I thought it was quite intelligent donk. Quite. Oh, what was it me and Ali Brown were saying? Shout out to the stupid experts, by the way. I took Ali to a BTID event, which is primarily bounce music. So whenever we heard anything which was trance, or we were saying we were going to make like trance and donk music, and we're going to call it trunk. Yes, trunk. So this is a good trunk tune. That's the genre that it's going to be from this moment forth. Trunk. And I liked it. The only thing I thought was that vocal had definitely got too much processing on it. I believe that it would be the reverb and the delay, like we mentioned at the beginning, like maybe having like side chaining the delay and the reverb, so that once the transients of the vocal have played, it's all of the reverb and the delay is ducked down, and then for the release, once the words have finished being said, that's when the delay and the reverb has its space. Probably had to process it to hell if it was a bad quality a cappella. Exactly. If that's the case, don't be afraid to take that vocal out. Get yourself over to Splice. find a vocal that's in the key of this track, so you won't have to do any other amending of this project. Find something else. Find something a bit more find something that's not going to cause you any issues copyright wise, because you could get this signed then, instead of having to give things out as free downloads and stuff all the time because you've used a well-known vocal. I think it's strong enough to warrant it having, you know, a lesser known vocal. Definitely. Yeah, it sounded like it already had the reverb and delays printed on, didn't it? Yeah. Okay, so that was Tiesto's fault then. But yeah, I loved it. I did love it. I would just, if it was my track, I would take out that vocal and put a different one in. I've never heard that vocal before, by the way. I know. Never heard that, or the original. Never heard that tune before. I don't think I have anyway. So it must have passed me by, that one. But yeah, I loved the actual track that you've made though, Dark Lord. Stupid experts, please do drop a demo over. It will have to go on next week, but please do, because it would be lovely to hear some of the stuff that you've been doing recently. Thank you. I will never change. However, Amber as a traffic light has to change in order for traffic to flow. So on some levels, Amber will change quite often. It's a good thing, honestly. We have joy, we have fun, we have seasons in the sun. Where did that come from? Goodbye, Papa, my only friend. We've known each other since we were 9 and 10. Oh, I love my brain. Have to treat me right from wrong. Time to carry on. Time to turn along. Goodbye, Papa, it's hard to die. When all the birds are singing in the sky. And everywhere. Yes, it's karaoke time. Little children everywhere. We have joy, we have fun, we have seasons in the sun, and the hills that we climb with the season at a time. All important key change. We have joy, we have fun, we have seasons in the sun. Next, we've got Outer Mind, Bass TNT, and this is Catchy's Hardcore remix. Here we go. Yes, mate. I really like that. I know that Catchy usually does bounce, and catchy by name, catchy by nature. It is a very catchy, hardcore tune. I liked it. I don't really know enough about hardcore to give it any credible feedback, really. I loved the clap-de-clap. Solid tune. Probably could have done with more switching up in terms of maybe introducing some different sounds, maybe a few different fills, a few years and ahas and stuff like that. And woos. I love a good woo. I'm a bit partial to a good old woo. Woo woo. Woo! That's what I'd do if it was me. But apart from that, I really liked it. Apart from the lack of woos, it was pretty damn good. Pretty snazzy. What did you guys think? Reminds me of old, early, mid-2000s hardcore. It needs more yapping dog woos, yes. And it was quite trance-core-esque, wasn't it? I think trance-core was actually the name for it a while back. But not really trance-core, because that was more like freeform. So it is UK hardcore, but with some trancey elements, which I liked about it. I like melodies in my tunes, not all the time, but at least 50% of stuff I think I like a melody, at least 45%. Okay, 47.5%. 47.5%. Yeah. A nice acid in there would have fitted nice with a little darker section to build up, then back into the uplifting part. Yes. Reminds me of Al Storm. Yep. Love Al Storm stuff. Yeah, good advice there. So, yeah. Well done, everybody. Pats on the back. All round. As you can see, I'm wearing my Cheeky Tracks merch as well. So you can get your cheeky tracks merchandise now. I'm sure General Bounce will give you the link. So yeah, we will be back again with this next week. Stay where you are. Stay there. We're going to see DJ Mixie now. Okay. So I want you to say a big hello. Tell him where you've come from. I've been wearing the Uncancelled shirt, General Bounce. It's in the wash at the moment. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And yeah, well done, everyone. Thank you for being a part of the demo drop. And we will be back again at the same time next week. Until then, mwah, have a good one.